Welcome to my channel, Shavers and Shavettes. I hope you are all doing well. Today I have for you the first in a series I am calling Trash to Lather. Each episode will feature a soap that I found in junk shops, either here locally or in my travels. Before we get to today's soap, quick rundown of the rest of the gear. Using an old Omega brush, the split ends have split ends at this point, so very nice. Sticking with my all-time favorite Gem Micromatic. Wonderful razors, definitely worth giving a shot if you never have. And today's soap came in this mug, a Currier and Ives mug, advertised in 1946 as a Christmas gift. The soap itself, and we'll see the little piece that I'm using, was stacked up to the top. It was entirely layer upon layer of old soap that probably once they broke through, whoever the original owner was just threw the new cake right on top of that and kept on using it. You can kind of make out where some different layers are. I counted 8. There were at least 8, but 8 very distinct layers that were remaining in the mug. The little piece that I'm using here for the video came from the very bottom, and if my grade school earth science class has taught me anything, it's that the oldest layers are on the bottom. I am going to guess this is probably not the original soap that came with it in 1946, a little bit later than that, but possibly not a lot later. So what I'm doing to lather is just holding the cake in the palm of my hand. I was a little concerned when I was lathering, when I was face lathering, that I didn't quite get enough loaded in the brush. I think too much soap stuck to my hands and I didn't get a very good load. In the back of my mind, I was self-conscious of the video getting too long, which was probably a stupid thing to do because I can edit the time of the video. As we'll see when I start my second pass, the lather breaks. Fair enough. I just reach over to grab the cake and get a little more soap going on the brush. Worked just fine after that. With the exception of the soap lather breaking, which is completely my fault. I saw it coming and didn't do anything about it. Performance was phenomenal. Very slick, very comfortable lather to work with. I don't know exactly what brand was in there or what mix of brands was in there. Being in a Currier and Ives mug, I'm guessing it's going to be Williams, but who knows? All kinds of mug soaps were available at that time. Could be any number of them, or any combination of soaps as well. So with this series, like I said, I'm going to feature old soaps that I have found in junk shops, either here locally or in my travels. I used to travel around a fair amount for work, 5 or 6 times a year, depending on how long I was staying. They're usually between 2 to 6 weeks. And whenever I'd get to the new place, I'd walk in and say, "Hello, my name is Andy. I'd like somebody to take me to the training room I'll be using so I can verify that the projector bulb is working." I will probably be making some changes to the projector, so if anybody from facilities doesn't like people messing around with the projectors, you better keep them out of my room. And where's the nearest junk shop? So definitely a lot of fun. Save a lot of money compared to eBay. I think the most expensive soap I have bought so far was a completely unused bowl of Yardley. That set me back $5. I wanted to haggle, but I decided it was worth it. So with the vintage shave gear of any kind, the vast majority of my razors, including this gem that we're looking at now, have come from junk shops just like that. All kinds of vintage soap has come from junk shops, vintage mugs, treasure mines, the junk shops, if you're into vintage gear shaving. Oh, how sad. There we see the lather break. It happens, not a big deal. Now, a lot of people in my area call these junk shops antique stores, and you might call them antique stores as well, but they are definitely junk shops as far as antique stores are concerned. If you do go check it out, just do be aware that the majority of the time, shaving items are not going to be placed in prominent display. You will be spending most of your time digging around in boxes, reaching to the back of shelves, asking to take a look in locked cabinets where there's all kinds of clutter. In my mind, though, it's definitely worth it. I have found pretty much all of the sought after varieties, as well as a bunch that I really haven't seen people talk about. Most are fantastic. Occasionally, you'll get a pretty terrible one, but for the small price of admission, it's worth it in my mind. So, if there's any old brands, vintage, discontinued soap that you would like to see and maybe get a little opinion from me on, definitely let me know in the comments. I should be able to accommodate most requests. If I get a request for a brand that I don't have, I will certainly put that on the radar and make sure I try to find that when I come across, or if I come across it in a junk shop. Yeah, and we'll see where this goes. If you haven't tried vintage soaps before, they're definitely a treat to use. A lot of fun. If you're into vintage razors, I think the soaps are even more satisfactory to use. They weren't meant to be around for very long. They weren't built to be here for over 100 years. And there's just something, I don't know, in my mind, something very exciting about that. Like I said, very satisfying to use an old soap. Even one like this where I don't really know exactly what brand it was, it's still fun to use a soap that's been around for, we'll call it 70 years. Yep, but let me know if there's any brands that you'd like to see. The vintage soaps that I've come across, this one, I think you could see in some of the break between the layers a little bit of orange, which to my understanding indicates some oxidation of whatever remaining oils were in that soap. I've only come across a couple of soaps that had a lot of the orange oxidation on it. For my money, I don't think it impacts the performance whatsoever. There is a little bit of an old, stale scent to it, but you're using old, stale soap, so I think it's fair enough to have that. I will say the only exception has been Old Spice. Every cake of Old Spice I've come across still has fantastic scent. I see a lot online of people say that there's no more scent left when they buy them on eBay or come across them in shops. I don't know if I'm lucky, but every single cake of Old Spice that I've picked up has definitely had ample scent remaining. But as I finish up here, I just want to take a moment to say thank you so much for everybody who subscribed. Thank you if you're just hanging out with me today watching this video. I really do appreciate it. I really appreciate your comments if you choose to leave one. It makes it so much more fun to make videos when I get a little feedback from you guys. But that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great day.